Hey folks, Evil DM here. I'm back with another episode of Idols and Efreetis. This week we're going to do another email that was emailed into me, so ask the DM at theevildm.com. This one comes in from Brett, and he asked about subdual damage and explain it a little bit more to him how it works. Because it's a little bit confusing, and he wants to know how it works, pretty much, is summing up the email. Okay, so what we do is we turn to page 67 in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and we get Striking the Subdue. This is effective against some monsters and other creatures of humanoid size and type, as indicated in the Monster Manual under Dragons, or herein. Such an attack uses the flat, butt, haft, other pommel, or otherwise non-lethal parts of the weapon or concerned. Otherwise, it's the same as any other attack. Note that unless expressly stated, otherwise, all subduing damage is 75% is temporary, but 25% of is actual damage of the creature being subdued. This means that if 40 hit points of subduing damage has been inflicted upon the creature, the actual suffered amount is 10% of real damage. 10 hit points of real damage. The above, of course, does not apply to player characters ever. So it's basically 25% is actual subdue damage of the creature being subdued. But anyway, we can flip to page 30 of the Monster Manual, and it gives us an example under Dragons about how it does work and how you go through the whole process, which I'll explain to you here. They give you a dragon with 88 hit points and a party attacking of the dragon. So you can do a couple things here when you subdue a creature of such. You can do it as it states, roll, and then only 75% of it would be subduing damage or not. You can do a die down or a die half it or whatever. I've seen a lot of DMs when they're rolling, say, a D10 damage, they'll say, okay, roll a D8. Or D6 damage, roll a D4. They're stepping it down just to make it easier because they want to do less math. It's really up to you how you want to do it. But the example would be this, as such. Say you have a dragon with 80 hit points. Now, the player characters go, they win the initiative, and they wind up scoring 10 hit points of subdual damage on the dragon. So what the Dungeon Master would do on the dragon's turn is roll a percentile. And if that percent is 10% or less, the dragon bows to the party. Next round, he rolls. He gets over it. The dragon goes, does his thing. Players go again. They score a total of 30 subdual damage points. That would be 37.5%. Let me throw up these numbers for you so you can see them. What I'm talking about here would be 35%. 37.5%, you can round that down, you can round that up. Usually we round down things, so 37. 40 of 80 would be 50, 60 of 80 would be 75, 70 of 80 would be 87.5, and 75 of 80 would be 93%. Each round on the creature or dragon's turn, the DM would be rolling this percentage and trying to get under that. If he does get under it, the creature subdues. Now, let's say you subdue that dragon, or you could just beat it into submission completely if you don't want to do this. You're the DM. It's a lot of math. You're going to need a calculator, scratch paper, whatever you want to do it, or you just can do math in your head because you're a math genius. It's really up to you. Some Dungeon Masters do not even bother with this percentage rolling each round because they just don't want to deal with the math. Or they do it that, okay, when it gets to half, the dragon will do it, and then they'll roll to see. It's really your game. You do however you want to do it. This is just an example here for you to help you explain it. Now, how long will a subdued dragon stay subdued? Or subdualed, or whatever you want to call it. They do have rules for it here that they will serve the masters for as long as it possibly can until they see a weak point in the master so they can escape. If they think that they could escape and or kill the captor, they will do it. They will fear, but if they see things like goodness or letting it do certain things, it will, just like any captive. If you capture something, a wild animal, a person, anything. You've seen these movies where they capture. Usually, sometimes the person becomes a little relaxed. And what's the first thing the person is captured do? They try to get away. If they don't fear somebody, they're going to try to get away. So I've had players in parties that will constantly smack around a subdued creature. Not enough that it would hurt it, but enough that it would fear them enough that they didn't want to leave. And never let it out of your sight, because then it could escape very easily. But then if you put the fear into them, they may not escape. That's how things happen. So that's how that works. Hopefully that has answered your question. And I've given you the example here with the percentages of how it would work. It's a pretty simple system, and it's not that confusing if you really look at it and read the example here. I know Gary, the Gygaxian, sometimes is a little confusing to some people, but that's how I play this. This is how I've interpreted these rules, and I've seen other DMs do it the similar way. Tell me what you do. Write, comment, and subscribe to me if you have not. Ask the DM at theevildm.com. And keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.